You know that awkward moment when you're 20 minutes into a replay and you realize that you're looking at the wrong replay? No, just me. Oh well. Welcome back to the Brightworks, everyone, where today, for the second time for me and the first time for you, we will be looking at Supreme Straits. Yeah, I've got a lot of Supreme Straits replays, apparently. I knew that eventually this would happen where I mix up two replays and get them confused. But anyways, this is the one that we're going to be taking a look at today because apparently some interesting shenanigans do go down. Oh, wow. That's quite the rendition here. We have a little snail with some artillery coming out of its back. New unit confirmed. Figus really predicting the future of Bar. Well, it looks like on the southwestern section, Kevin is going to be the man of the hour here. Spawning in the C lane position, this is always a tricky one, but a fun one, if I do say so myself. I really like playing this position. I get to go Navy sometimes, I get to go Tumbleweed sometimes, I get to do all sorts of interesting, downright ridiculous strategies. And it's a whole lot of fun. Kevin here, going to be the man of the hour, spawning in that Armada livery and representing the red team with it. Bit unusual to see Armada in, well, it's not unusual, but it feels unusual to see Armada in red, but you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Kevin really screwed over by the wind speed right now, which just dropped down to 2. Wind really throwing everybody's game here, including the northeastern champion of the blue team, Kung Fu Panda. That's a real legend right there. That's a DreamWorks classic, Kung Fu Panda. Definitely one of my favorite animated. I guess it's a series at this point. Animated trilogies of all time. Although I wasn't as big a fan of the third movie. Were there 4 movies? There actually might have been 4 movies. Anyways, 1 and 2 I remember being really good. I think 1 was good and then 2 was better, and then I remember not being so interested in number 3. Could also be that I watched 1 and 2 as a kid and 3 as an adult, and that you know, things change. Your priorities change in life. But I could still appreciate a good DreamWorks animated movie. Spawning in the backline here, right next to Kung Fu Panda, is going to be Aiden Knott, who is going for the air lab here. Off of the triple solar 2 windmill start. Bit interesting there, but I'll allow you your three solar panels without too much judgment. Polygon going straight into a naval facility in the tucked away corner up here. Very interesting. That actually spares you from a lot of harassment, although not this case, as Pillow has already got a frigate out, and instead of sending it to the usual location over here, has instead decided to send it straight across to where Polygon is building his navy. What an interesting decision, but the right one nonetheless. It is going to net him an advantage here as these frigates show up, and Polygon that does not have a equally sized navy at field. He is going to get some frigates out though, so there's that defender's advantage, right? The units come out a whole lot quicker for the defender than they do for the offender, and so getting some of these frigates out as well as a res boat or 2 will definitely help Polygon maintain some sort of an advantage here. Now, the disadvantage is the fact that he doesn't have all his metal extractors. Yeah, there's 4 metal extractors unclaimed at the moment, and he doesn't have a bot to use. There we go. Okay, I was going to say, he could probably buy one from a teammate. Looks like Garbager or Garbagger is going to help him out here and give him one of those units. He catches a frigate. That's quite nice. That's an excellent catch, yeah. Building a res sub right away. And, you know, he could reclaim it, but I wouldn't mind the resurrection. Looks like that's what he's going to go for, and that's great. That's going to help you snowball so much quicker, because you think about it, right? I mean, he now has three frigates and is up against a equivalent army, or equivalent navy, I should say. Whereas Pillow is now going to be forced to deal with an extra unit coming against him, and if that trend continues, well, it looks like this. We call that an asymptote. Aiden not transporting the commander over here. That's quite interesting. Meanwhile, a couple of blitzes have run by and destroyed Obsolete's, well, metal extractor. They certainly could have done a whole lot more, so I'm a little bit wondering what these bad boys are hanging out in the backline here thinking about. What does a blitz think about in its day off? Is a good question here. I see the problem. Get Comfy Be Toxic has failed to capture the front line here, has just not moved the commander forward whatsoever. and so there are units leaking through this northern section. This is a huge oversight. I'm not sure why Dark Green has decided not to contest that part of the straits while on the front line, but it's certainly within his portfolio here. his job description certainly includes guard the left side of the strait. Where's my little draw tool? There we go. Balanced aggression coming out from Obsolete over here. However, Obsolete has managed to claim these metal extractors. Well, one of the metal extractors, so he's going to pull the Constructor to try and build over here on this side of the map. This little engagement left a couple of ships on the bottom of the ocean, but that's going to be up to Kevin to resurrect here. It's in his ball court. In his court. The ball is in his court. There we go. Tricky. Very tricky. Frigate's trying to fight the commander here, but not quite getting the engagement they're hoping for. And now there's a lot of wreckage left on the yellow player's side of the map here. Although not a ton, actually. Now that I think about it, there's actually not as much as you would expect. There's a couple of ships lying around on the bottom of the oceans here, 2 of them lying here, and then of course the wreckage over here. All said and done, not the end of the world. Missile ship was included here, and it will slowly shoot down some of those shuriken, as well as these frigates. Well, anything really. It'll be happy to shoot at anything that it feels like here. Interesting. Kung Fu Panda went for T2 vehicles in the backline here. I actually like that for Armada because, of course, you get these consoles, and he's doing exactly what I would recommend everybody do. You build one of these consoles because they are a combat engineer, so they can build you those fancy pants units. The Hounds, the Gunslingers, also some of those T2 stuff. Very, very nice. Going up to T2 in the backline here for the red team as well. Looks like they went for the bot lab instead. Not the end of the world, just a slightly bit more, or a bit less universally useful, but certainly very, very useful nonetheless. Would love to see those T2s distributed around to everybody on this team. Something that the backline should always be cognizant of is making sure that their front line has the amount of T2 that they need. Building that T2 can be the difference between winning and losing your front line. It's that push and pull, right? You don't want to give up too much ground in order to go for T2, so if you can push, gain a bunch of ground, and then fall back to lose it, to go up to T2, the net positive is you've lost no ground, or the net trade is that you've lost no ground while also going up a tech transition. Obviously that's ideal, and not every one of these fights is ideal, but you can always plan for ideal and improvise after the fact here. Great engagement for Polygon, who has taken the appropriate fight here. Going to pull the injured ships back. Excellent micro on that front there. Can try and save that one. It's got a little experience. It's worth saving. It will manage to back off. At this point, the ships need to head back home, try and recover here. Looks like the res sub will actually be used to repair them. That's quite nice. Wouldn't mind including a few more res subs, actually. It's something to be aware of. Repair a whole lot faster with more of those boats out. Yeah, right now Polygon is trying to find the right angle to engage from here. It's a lot more difficult to find that angle as the defender here. You're sort of more pinned in with the defensive box that you have to maintain, but it's not impossible, and there's certainly the opportunity to take a decent trade here. Don't want to lose your ships one by one, though. That's one way that you can quickly fall out of control of the naval theater. If you sacrifice one too many ships, suddenly you find yourself in a really unfortunate position. 8 minutes and we're getting up to those T3 metal extractors here. You can see that Kung Fu Panda is going for those T2 mexes. Still has the commander here, decided not to sacrifice it, maybe planning to use it in some way. Going to be using it as build power for the time being. Wonder how much tech we're gonna go for. That's always the question. How much tech do you do before you start contributing on the front lines? The midline sort of has to be a little less greedy, but the back line can afford to, assuming there's some sort of communication about this anyway, can afford to be fairly greedy about the units, or the eco that they're gonna hold out for. And of course, the more eco you go for, the quicker it scales. So interestingly, looks like Gof will be making a advanced fusion reactor in the back line. Going to be going right up to one of those. Submarine is out, and that sort of perfectly counters this composition. Now this is all just going to retreat back until they have either sub or destroyer accompaniments. Looks like destroyer is the choice that Polygon's going to go for here. And I don't hate it, not at all. Those Hounds are out. Very, very good against the T1 static defense, of course, but also very good against basically any T1 unit. Have to be careful with them, though. You want to snowball them as much as possible, and once you hit that critical mass, they really can start to tear apart those T1 units with a devastating efficiency. Commander taking fire from a Sheldon here. Chipping away at it, slowly but surely. Rekka is in quite a bit of trouble here, 9% left. The Commander's not looking so good. Sheldon are so dangerous. They really are. Oh, nice little scout here by Aedonaut. Does reveal a large portion of this map for his team, at least the front lines anyways. Doesn't find the cloaked jammer, so doesn't understand why all these units are being invisijammed, but I'm sure that they can figure it out pretty quickly. Artillery is still very painful to walk under, so you definitely want to make sure that you're constantly moving. Blue Frost going for the capture, very nicely done. Excellent play there, going for the capture on these metal extractors. It's one of those lesser used powers of the Commander is that it can capture, basically, well, it can capture any unit in the game, unit or structure. So it's a very useful tool in that regards. So we've got an Armada fight up north, and we've got a Cortex fight down south. How funny is that? Is the Destroyer out yet? It sure is. Destroyer is out and about, and he's going to be pulling that into the composition here to try and deal with some of those submarines. It's definitely one way to handle that. Of course, you can also go into submarine production yourself, but that's a very, very costly investment. Also, very tough. Very, very tough. And they do a lot of damage, too, so they're very, very difficult to deal with. Of course, one excellent way of dealing with them is you build a bunch of paralyzers, and you just shut those ships down. Ships are ineffective if they cannot fire, cannot move, cannot do anything. And that was a tremendous amount of reclaim that Kevin got off of this wreckage field here, though. He's going to be able to start funding a more and more expensive army here as time goes on. Oh, Hillside getting a little jammed up there. Advanced fusion reactor coming up over here. Still coming up, I should say. Advanced fusion reactor just started up here for Kung Fu Panda. So this should be a good example of why going for a fusion reactor first might be a better move here. As you can see that he started his advanced fusion reactor sooner, but now he's 2 minutes away from having this completed. Whereas you can see that Gof is about a minute away, but stalling on basically, well, energy production at the moment. And so going to be a little bit further behind in that respect. Although not terribly. Yeah, wind power is pretty good on this map, I gotta say. All said and done, it basically just means that you're in a pretty good spot if you go for a fusion reactor. I mean, of course you now have a fusion reactor and an advanced fusion reactor when this comes up, but it's a little bit slower, so trade-offs here and there, I suppose. Kevin actually using the Commander of all things to guard this wreckage field. Gonna self-destruct it, actually. Nice, that's a huge hit on the blue navy that is now crippled, and all that wreckage is going to be up for grabs from the red player here, who is now fielding a tremendous naval force. Tons and tons of dolphins coming out here. Very nicely done. That was a huge play, and probably just won Kevin the naval field. Blue Frost is walking along. He is a walking man. He's got on his walking shoes. But he might not need to. Kevin pushing forward with the Navy here, doing an excellent job. Shuriken also being sure to contribute here. I love that. I love when the backline gets involved any way that they can, and certainly sending out those Shuriken is one way to do so. Dolphins are so annoying. They really can do so much work for such a minuscule cost. They're one of the scourges of the sea, certainly. The Tumbleweed being one of the other ones. Lab is under threat here. That lab going down really hurts. It will go down. And that justifies this aggression completely. Now Obsolete is going to be forced to remake the lab, and that's going to take time. He also doesn't have any build power over here. No constructors, no construction turrets, none of that business. He's going to reclaim the lab. That's unfortunate. EMP bombers brought out. That's one way to shut down naval aggression here. Of course, naval anti-air is a thing, and you have to be aware of it. But certainly worth getting some of those EMP bombers out. They can shut down a composition quite nicely. Pillow has managed to hold on here against Polygon. I thought Polygon had a superior trade there and was going to be able to take the better engagement. But Pillow flexing that naval might as well. Getting some of those destroyers out to accompany the Riptide's probably a good idea. Does he already have some? He does not. He just has that lone submarine still. Okay, so the composition here for Polygon is just a little bit more advanced than the composition for Pillow here. And so that means that presumably he would take a better trade overall. Did I? Wait. I think I missed something. I think I missed something critical. Hold on. Let me go back. Okay. So I backed off a couple minutes here. Ponder Grief put up a nuclear launcher, and the first nuke is charged by 13 minutes. Is that a nuke rush? I don't know. I don't know if that qualifies as a nuke rush on this map. It's certainly not the quickest nuke. But there's an anti-nuke. Wait, so I'm so confused. So he targets Kung Fu Panda. Oh, it's not charged. Oh, the anti-nuke isn't charged. Okay, the nuke is in the air. The nuke is coming down. Yeah, the anti-nuke isn't charged yet. Oh, he knows. Kung Fu Panda knew, and he started moving his commander away. Nuclear bomb does come in and collapses the entire base of Kung Fu Panda seconds before the anti-nuke was charged. Wow. I'm glad I backed off for that. That was, that's insane. The timing on that is immaculate here. Kung Fu Panda was banking on that 14-minute timer. You can see that charged almost exactly on 14 minutes, but Ponder Grief managed to actually get the nuke out quite a bit sooner than that, hitting right before the 14-minute time was set. Whoops, sorry about that, if you heard my little alarm go off there. Didn't expect to be backing off, so I thought that alarm wouldn't go off until the end of this cast. But, wow. Okay, so the nuke slips through. So we're back to where we were, more or less here. Sorry, I was so hyper fixated on those nukes all over the place, I didn't even realize. Also, what is this? What are we? Blue Frost has gotten real sturdy with it. Is now walking his commander into this base. Okay, Blue Frost. What are you doing, mate? What's your plan here? Those are just advanced metal extractors. Not really a lot of economy, I would say, you're doing damage to. Didn't even kill the Aphises. Okay. Well, a couple of D-guns there could have done way more damage than the nuclear explosion or just taking out this advanced geothermal, but either way, I guess I don't hate that. No, I do hate that, actually, yeah. That was really bad. That was definitely not the value that Blue Frost was looking for there. That certainly could have been way, way better. Second nuke is charged. Where's it headed? Oh, it's headed over here. Okay. This is not Polygon's main base. Polygon, for lack of a real word for it, does not have a main base. This is, I mean, it's a big cluster of his economy here because it's where all his advanced metal extractors are. But it certainly is not the juicy target that you would really expect here. Nuke is up. Oh, no, sorry, we changed targets here. Ooh, right into the heart of Jack Snax' base. Oh, the anti-nuke actually fired, okay. Seconds away. The anti-nuke actually fired after, so okay, hold on. We gotta break this down. Anti-nuke fires. No, sorry. Nuke fires. Anti-nuke is not charged. Nuke comes in, gets close enough. The anti-nuke then fires off to intercept. The nuke explodes, kills the anti-nuke, and then the anti-nuke doubles back down and kills, well, I mean, it didn't kill anything. There wasn't anything left in the crater. But the anti-nuke re-collides with Jack Snax' base. Wow. That is a ridiculously close call right there. Jack Snax was a second away from his anti-nuke being able to prevent that nuclear explosion. That is ridiculous. Blue team caught twice now, just a hair behind what they expected the timing to be, and just caught ever so slightly off guard, but it's those precious seconds that count, and it does define two bases now completely obliterated from the map. Kung Fu Panda is going to have to rebuild here. Now, with the assistance of his teammate, he has managed to get his advanced metal extractors back, but of course, that's doesn't make up for the fact that those advanced fusion reactors went down, and rebuilding here is going to be quite a pain. Meanwhile, Obsolete has been crushed up north. Tons and tons of damage as the laboratory goes down. He's forced out of the water here. That's a really, really tough position. You're going to have to bunker up on land. We're going for any more aggression with this nuke. Well, we sure are. We're going to put it back at that other spot, the first target, before switching it over to Jack Snacks here. And yeah, you can see that that'll wipe out a solid 3 metal extractors too, as the anti-nuke does not cover that range. Not at all. Yeah, these anti-nukes still don't cover completely these bases. They're still like exposed edges, right? It's very tricky. How much do you risk on an edge? That being said, these front lines are also not protected by anti-nukes, so 1 or 2 nukes on the front line here could also just completely cripple everybody on the blue team. Already 2 players have been eliminated here versus 0 players being eliminated on the red team. That's a hefty price to pay. Tons of destroyers here. I did see the nuke, by the way. Right where it needed to go there, shutting down all of Nimsog's base. The blue team is being nuked to death here. 3 players down. How many kills on this nuke here? 117 kills. My god. That is a nuclear hero if I ever seen one. Naval engagement over here. It's nice. There's a lot of frigates here. Those Shuriken are looking to get invested into this fight as well. Those destroyers shelling away from long distance hurt so much, though. Garbagger trying his very best to hold on, but with nothing left to support here, it's pretty tricky. Garbagger went heavy into the eco here. Ate up the lab, ate up all production just to feed the eco generators in the back line, but will it be enough? Now, Kung Fu Panda has stuck in this game, going up to a fusion reactor, going to go up to those 2 energy converters, and then eventually into an APHIS here. Commander death on the front line. It looks like that is going to be Nimsoeg's commander, who was pushed by these medium tanks and eventually brought down. Sheldon continuing to harass on the front here. We need just 1 or 2 more nukes here on the front line in order to shut all of these units down for the blue team. I wonder if that's where we're going to put them. You can see just how powerful the Armada nuclear launcher is, just in the fact that it can fire so frequently. Multiple nukes, one after another, and eventually they just overwhelm the enemy. Another one coming up here. It will fire as soon as it is charged here. Let's get a nice little shot of this. Nuclear launch detected. There goes the nuke up in the air here. It will come down. Anti-nuke was built, but yeah, you didn't have time to charge one. And now Get Comfy Be Toxic will be the next victim to fall to the nuclear annihilation. Wow. What a hero. What a nuclear hero right here. Ponder Grief says, can we just win? I nuked 4 people. Yeah, he's not wrong. Well, he didn't manage to land this nuke over. Or did he? And those were just rebuilt already. No, there's no crater over there. I think there would be a crater if he nuked. But certainly 1, 2, 3, 4 nukes later, yeah, the blue team is in quite a position here. The red team is in this weird spot where everyone was ecoing right when all those nukes landed. So what happened is nobody had any units to actually push in here with. Realistically, a whole bunch of T1 medium tanks would basically win this game, but they don't actually have the forces to finish it at the moment, which is quite dangerous because this is becoming winnable, right? Or this is becoming recoverable in the backline. If there's nothing but recovery from the blue player here, although he is going for fighters, if all he did was eco like mad in the backline, certainly he could justify it with you know, it's just a last-ditch effort. But doing that would be the only way to get himself back into the economy over here. Comfy Be Toxic is also trying to claw himself back, starting up some of those windmills, basically going to have to rebuild from scratch. Mobile anti-nukes. They're quite powerful, aren't they? Especially with the bot lab here, we can certainly park a mobile anti up on top of this hill and essentially protect everyone on the front line. Not a bad idea whatsoever, as you can see right here. Nicely done here. Ponder Grief, well aware of the devastation that those nukes can cause. He's, you know, he's chosen his nukes wisely and been rewarded with several kills here. Nice Navy here. Looks like neither player, Pillow or Polygon, is interested in teching up. And that's the right call, because teching up here would be their death. Now we say that. Polygon has gone into an air lab here. Finally, a nuke will land back here, taking out some of those advanced metal extractors. Not all of them, but certainly a chip in the economy. That's going to be 28 metal down the drain. 28 per second, I should say, down the drain. Of course, the nuke wipes them out of the map instantaneously, so you don't have to worry about the, you know, too greatly about the effects of that there. Damage over time, no thank you. I prefer my damage nuclear and immediate. Bats are being produced here, the Seaplane Swarmers. They're a T-1.5 airship. They fill an odd role, but they're very, very good, and you can see that them coming out now shuts out the Shuriken gameplay completely, and it is going to force Figus to go up the tech ladder here. Building more and more Aphises. Oh, and the Marauders are ready to run by. There's not really any resistance here. Also, yeah, this would completely kill all of the surrounding defenses here. SAM turret, advanced laser tower, the heavy laser tower, area control laser tower. Interesting. Is that what the Armada variant is called? I forget what the Armada variant is called. Overwatch, I think that's what it's called. When do we send in the Marauders is the question. Res subs, eating up res subs. Does he not have a single destroyer here? No destroyers, no subs. It's easy to forget that, but you need to send a submarine around to clear all these metal extractors, otherwise you're never going to kill them. Oh. I smell nukes. Oh, he stopped it actually. Retargeting here. I didn't see where he flashed it to after he retargeted. I think it was somewhere in the middle of the map here. Get comfy, be toxic. Just got his T2 lab up and running again. Just for a nuke to come down on top of it. Oh, the lab survives though with 3% health. I don't think it'll survive these bad boys. Indeed it will not as the Marauders start to swarm here. Ooh, we could get a nice D-gun. Excellent D-gun right there. Whoa, manages to take out almost all of the Marauder right there. Wow. That bought his team a tremendous amount of time. That was a, that could have been a game-ending push right there. Get comfy, be toxic, got an excellent D-gun though and managed to shut down all of those Marauder. There's a few more streaming in here, but EMP bombers should be able to, at the very least, stall them out for the blue team to handle. Meanwhile, Obsolete moving the commander forward to D-gun some of these. That's the right move. You definitely want to make sure that you have your commander in the right position. Commander went, speaking of commanders in the right position, looks like commander went down over here. Conjoined efforts, though, as the pink bulls start to push forward. Yeah, the Marauders have already done their damage. Obsolete could not keep up with them, trying to D-gun them without destroying too much of his own base. EMP bombers not having much of an effect on these Marauders over here. They're already shut down the T2 lab. They're running through the bases. Impulse bombers dropping their warheads. Wow, that one might have landed every single Impulse warhead there. That's impressive. Usually those don't manage to do so well against land units. There go the EMP bombers who do eventually manage to hit those Marauders and shut them down. But it is way too late, as Obsolete has already been crippled. Green player has already been wiped out and indeed will tap out of this game. Decides to throw in the towel here, as there is not a whole lot more that they can do with everything they've ever known and loved reduced to smithereens. The Yellow Navy has by now far outpaced the Green Navy. It could certainly push forward here, although there are some torpedo gunships. That's quite nice. There are missile boats here too, so it'd probably end up not being as effective as you would hope. Oh, another nuke lands up top on Obsolete's base. He called the resign vote before the nuke comes in, but I think that's just the nail in the coffin here. Kung Fu Panda even gonna have to move his commander forward to destroy some of these artillery units pushing in. They are mostly all paralyzed, so that's quite nice. can't believe we lost to a nuke rush from Geospot. It's the oldest trick in the book, but if you don't scout it, you don't believe it, you don't predict it, and you don't respect it, it'll catch you off guard. Ticks here, just running right past the Tachyons. Yeah, they don't care. They're disposable anyway. They're like, what does it matter to me if Tachyon fires his beam at my brothers and kills 40 of them? There's 400 behind me. Yeah, I agree with what Exploit is saying. It's not insane to try and get an ante up by 14 minutes, and the nuke hitting before then was just a, you know, that's a nuke rush, and we can respect it. Certainly got to keep an eye on your enemy and scout them as well as you can. Really difficult to scout this position, though, I must admit. Anyways, the blue team decides to tap in at that point, and I don't blame them. Pondergrief winning the golden cow of victory here as he wipes out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, call it 6 players. 6 massive nukes, maybe even 7. Massive nukes to eliminate his opponents, crushing their economies. You can see on each one of these players where they get nuked. you can see the drop-offs on every single one of them, which is just hilarious. Excellent game, really fun to see. Really love those nuke crushes. Definitely just reminds me to keep an eye out on it because you never know when they're gonna pull something out of their pocket. But anyways, I do hope you enjoyed as well. I do apologize for mixing it in the first time. Let me know if you have any suggestions or if you like my way of handling, backing off there. It's a little tricky, so I'd love some input on it from you guys down below. I just always love to hear from you guys anyways. I do try to read every comment. Usually I can. Anyways, thanks a ton for watching, and this has been The Brightworks. I will see you in the next video.